Welcome in college football fans to the Old North State Sports Show. Folks, it's been a while. We talked about college football during the national championship, during the playoffs. We've had a few episodes along the way, but we're trying to figure out a good rhythm for me to add college football into my repertoire, to get it out there to talk to you guys. And so we're going to try out a few things. This is a sample run of some updates. And again, we're going to, for me personally, assess, is this feasible? I think we can do something like this, one episode per week, of course, and then making content as needed. But to kick it off, we're going to give you some updates on 3 programs. I did not go through every FBS program in North Carolina and South Carolina today. I only pulled out a few just so we can give some updates. So we're going to take a look at the programs, the state of them, and that is University of North Carolina, South Carolina Gamecocks, and the Clemson Tigers. Just 3 programs that I follow very closely through all my platforms, so it's easier for me to kind of keep in the scoop. I do follow NC State and Wake and Duke, ECU, App, Coastal, all those schools, Charlotte, but I don't see their content as much, so I got to adjust my feed to figure out how to get them in there. Anyways, enough of the rambling. Let's get right into the mix, folks. Starting off with the University of North Carolina. Now, we have some non-football news for the University of North Carolina right now, and a lot centered around the basketball program. The basketball program has been abysmal, absolutely terrible under Hubert Davis this season. He's had 2 good seasons, 2 really bad seasons. That's just, I don't know if you want to call it really bad. By the standard of the University of North Carolina basketball, very bad program year for these guys. Likely going to miss the NCAA tournament. Luckily, they're not as bad as NC State, who is going to miss the ACC tournament. That's right, they're not even going to make the ACC tournament. And also, with expansion in the ACC, no idea why you just don't have everyone for the money, everything that goes into it. I don't know why you cut teams off. You throw in Notre Dame into all this as well. You're up to, again, 18. Just invite everybody. But whatever. They made a decision to keep it with 15. Odds of NC State making it. And, Kevin Keats, who I personally like because he coached here at UNC Wilmington, where we live. I don't know. It's a tough run. But anyways, basketball news outside of the basketball program being terrible is discussions around moving the basketball, what is now the Smith Center, off campus into a north location. Sounds like it's kind of gaining some momentum, at least what I've seen thus far. But today we're here to talk exclusively about the University of North Carolina in this segment and Bill Belichick. Lots of news with Bill Belichick. If you saw him in the NFL honors with his girlfriend, who I don't even know how old she is. She's probably younger than me, I believe. Courting her around with Super Bowl rings, showing her off. I don't know. It's a weird situation for me to think about how old this dude is, dating this young girl. Whatever, dude. Like Bill Belichick, whatever. I'll keep that. Do your thing. But let's get back into the news around the school itself and the football program. So we have Bill Belichick here. You see a screenshot on the right. Sounds like Bill Belichick and the University of North Carolina are going to be launching a podcast for football. No idea what this means. It just said coming soon on UNC's football X page, Instagram. So we'll see what that comes. I know Bill Belichick also bounces around to the Pat McAfee show. Lombardi, who's the GM of the team, is also going on there quite a bit. So I don't know. We'll figure all that out. Speaking of the stadium in Keaton Stadium, I know they're making really good progress on replacing the artificial turf with grass. It sounds like from a timing perspective, as we discussed this a little bit earlier in another episode, that it was time to replace the turf and they just made a decision, or Bill did, to influence them to move back to grass. And I got to say, I'm all for it. But here we are. If you are a student at the University of North Carolina and you want to try out for the football team, tryouts are available. UNC football walk-on tryouts on February 27th. Must be a full-time student. Must have played varsity football. So pretty basic right there. But hey, man, recruit anyone and everyone you can. And I'm all for it for Bill Belichick. He seems to find the most out of guys that maybe just don't make the cut elsewhere, and does more with less. Now, more with less earlier in his career in New England, of course, later in the years without Tom Brady at the helm, a little bit different. But I'm all for it. He's not the only program that's doing this. We'll talk about it in a second. But I like it because transfer portal, you did pretty well in there. I think the number 14 class, actually, it is the 14th class. We have it right on the screen. 43rd composite rank high school class. And that was a big jump from where they were at 77, 80-ish range. And your composite overall rank is 32nd. Really good. Now, there's a lot of discussion when you talk about North Carolina and their recruiting, their marketing now, continuing to talk about being the 33rd team in the NFL, to get you to the NFL, the 33rd NFL team. We've got this pathway, we've got this program, we've got this, and this. And I'll tell you, I listened to Ovies and Giglio talk about this, and they had a really good point. I hope you guys listen to them too, where when we think about this, University of North Carolina, that's a pretty bold statement to just come out and say that. Now, I know you want to use that because you have Bill Belichick and you have the ties and the history of him, what he did in the NFL. But you have to also remember there's really good teams out there, i.e. Georgia and Alabama. And Alabama not so much as of late, but Ohio State. Some of these really big brands that truly get a lot of the SEC schools that get players to the NFL. So what is the difference? Like, until you start getting, as I said, the bigger recruits, the 5 stars, converting players, getting transfer portals, winning the ACC, winning national titles, I don't know if you can claim that. We will see how this works. I think it is a good marketing scheme if they can win some games. I'll be curious to see how this pans out. Like, if all things fall apart, this could be one and done. And I think the program itself would be in a much worse situation. If Bill Belichick fails, this program is set back thousands, not really, but they're done as a football school. All that money and investment is going to be going to basketball. No doubt about it. Like, I think this is the chance to get it right. Hope that it continues. Otherwise, you're looking at like a situation. It's not nearly the same because Wake Forest is much smaller, but a school like Wake Forest football program, where you just got to do more with less. Like, this is your chance to show that you can win. I don't know if they'll be able to do it, but they do have a pretty favorable schedule. Now, let's move on to the University of South Carolina. As mentioned, they're not, University of North Carolina is not the only one holding tryouts. University of South Carolina Gamecocks tryout and walk-on information available here. They put a ton of information on their tryouts, everything that goes with that. I saw the University of South Carolina having a really good time this week with Shane Beamer and company and the team getting back into the swing of things. They, I guess, did like wiffle ball. I don't know all the ins and outs, but having a really good time. Probably some of the biggest news too this past week or last week or so for the University of South Carolina Gamecocks is not even with a current player. Has to do with Sterling Sharp getting into the Hall of Fame. Congrats, man. Seriously, congrats. I know we have a lot of Panthers fans on here. You have to understand that Sterling Sharp, and I broke this down, was not in the modern era voting. So he's not in the same voting bracket as your Steve Smiths, your Luke Kuechlys. It's different. So anyways, congrats to him. Well-deserved. He was a good receiver, man. I remember growing up, because I was a Green Bay fan with my dad, growing up and listening and watching and knowing all about Sterling Sharp. Speaking of rankings, while we're going through this, we said, you know what, let's look at it, man. South Carolina Gamecocks, I've seen a lot of preseason predictions way too early that show them as a playoff team. A lot of people predicting this team to make the playoffs. Not going to be an easy test or an easy way to get there. We'll find out. But the excitement has to be real if you are a fan, considering what you saw last year. I know it wasn't the finish you wanted, at least in the bowl game, but you knocked off Clemson. So got to feel really good about that and like the pieces that you have coming back Lenore Sellers, fantastic piece. No doubt about it. Also favored, early Heisman favorite. Not the favorite, but one of the favorites to get votes. But overall, 21st ranked class. They're 18th in the high school rankings and 13th in the transfer portal. I don't know how you can be 18th and 13th and might come out 21st. I don't know. The math isn't mathing, because if you look at UNC, they are 43rd and 14th and then come out 32. Whatever. Anyways, get these from 24/7 Sports. We'll keep you updated, folks. So what I plan to do, got to figure out how I want to do this, is give you guys a true preseason, like literally I'm saying preseason preview of all the teams, North Carolina and South Carolina in college football, schedules, coaches, players, as far as who's on there, give you our input, thoughts on the season. And then we get into the season, we'll probably do recaps of the games as we go through them. Hopefully be a fun experience. We'll find out. And lastly, if you were a South Carolina fan, you may want to turn it off because you don't want to hear anything about Clemson. The Clemson Tigers, who are officially taking advantage of the transfer portal. We've seen a few of them come in. They are the 29th ranked overall class, 26 composite in high school, and then 101 in the transfer portal. See, these, it's wild. But, I mean, we know Dabo doesn't bring a lot of folks in. Doesn't bring a lot of folks in. A lot of folks go out. They are getting back to work. All in, or I should say all in is their thing, but all in, starting with their drills. Man, I got to tell you, they were posting videos of the 5:30, 5 a.m. workouts. Brings me back to my days, man, when I was in college. Oh, hated it. And the funny thing is, when I was in school, like, they gave you an option in the offseason program to decide when you wanted to go. I decided to go at like 6 or 5 or 5:30, whatever it was. I could have waited till later in the day. I personally put myself through heck for no reason. And the only other thing I'll call it is we talk about recruiting for Clemson. Pretty interesting here. It says every Clemson signing class under Dabo has won at least one ACC title, and every class since 2012 has made at least one college football playoff appearance. I mean, from a marketing, you talk about marketing and promotion, while Bill Belichick's promoting the 33rd NFL team, you have a team in the Clemson Tigers that have won a lot. And to be honest, Clemson should be the favorite, probably is the favorite. They will be preseason top 10, maybe top 8, maybe top 5. A lot of pieces coming back. Speaking of Heisman favorites, Cade Klubnik. It's going to be a wild year in the ACC. If Florida State can get back into it, if Miami's still relevant, if UNC can figure it out, Louisville's always in the mix, Georgia Tech. So should be a good showing. Hopefully they can pick up a few more wins over some of the SECs and Big Tens of the world. But anyways, folks, that's going to do it for today. Let me know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments. This is Carolina Dad. Y'all have a good one.